Welcome to the People Connect podcast. Your network is your net worth. Are you ready to take your life to the next level? Be prepared to leap out of your comfort zone and connect with the who's who of what you want to do. Stop, drop, and roll as we start, market, and grow the CEO of you and your host, Nichelle Womack. She will help you engage, reinvent, motivate, and reactivate your plans for success.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the People Connect podcast. How are you? Thank you so much for all of your downloads, all of your shares for the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Today, we are going to talk about Instagram. And this message comes along because I was speaking to a friend who is a business owner as well of a brick and mortar the other day, and we were just talking about social media. And the comment came out that I don't like social media. I don't really use it. I don't find a need for it. And I don't know how to use it. And so I said, well, if he's like that, there may be some others out there as well. To be honest with you, Instagram is one of my favorite platforms. And the reason why I like Instagram is because of the many different things that you can do on it. Now, to be honest with you, since Facebook has purchased Instagram, some of Facebook's ideology of business practices have been transferred to Instagram. Instagram literally did not even pay attention to analytics as much as they do now because Facebook is the owner. But I still think it's an amazing platform to make some awesome connections with people from around the world that share interests with you, that have different interests. And then notably enough, if you are a small business owner, you definitely should be on Instagram. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Motor Club of America. If by chance, any chance, you do not have roadside assistance, and even if you do have roadside assistance and you're unhappy and you have don't have unlimited towing, you don't have all the perks that if you get caught in an accident and you have to go to the emergency room, you get paid for that as well for your visit to the emergency room. Just a whole lot of stuff. Motor Club of America is an amazing opportunity, not only for you to earn additional income, but also as a service as well. I have profoundly been a member of Motor Club of America for about 8 years, as well as a business owner with it. And I recommend it to any and everybody who is in need of roadside assistance, because everybody needs that. You can have a brand new car and it breaks down. So why not be prepared in advance versus waiting till something happens? So go to the roadsidebuddy.com. Again, that's the roadsidebuddy.com, and you can learn more about Motor Club of America. You can learn more about the business opportunity in case you are interested in earning some extra streams of income. Motor Club of America allows you to do that with very little cost. So check it out. So let's get down to business. We're talking about Instagram, and I'm going to give you a basic checklist of what it is that Instagram does. I'm Nichelle with 2XL with Nichelle.com. You can go to that website and learn more about me and what I do to help you as a business owner to profit and prosper in your daily activities of living. So using Instagram to build a loyal audience can be very frightening for someone who is not familiar with the platform or really don't understand social media. So the checklist that I'm going to give you is going to share with you everything that you need to get started with Instagram on the right foot. And first and foremost, it starts off with setting up your profile correctly. Be sure to do some research, on your audience before setting up your social media profiles. And this is pretty much across the board, because it's best if all of your social media profiles are pretty much the same or similar with memorable usernames. I know some people, they'll have a different Facebook username, a different Instagram username, Periscope, and all that kind of stuff. You want to make sure you're consistent, because that's the key to business success, consistency. So be sure that you set up a username that's kind of coincided with your brand, with your name, and that is easily searchable for you online. So your username, you can use the same username for all your social media networks, which I recommend. But remember to try not using one with an underscore if possible. And the reason why I say that is because people don't remember that. the more simplistic your username is, the easier it is for people to find you. And not only that, the easier for people to remember you. And then for you to advertise that as well. What does it sound like? Nichelle Womack _ I mean, it's just too much. And so I'm at Nichelle Womack everywhere. And I find that to be advantageous for every small business owner that I work with as well. It's easy. You want to make it easy for people to find you. The second thing that you need to be mindful of is a profile bio. Now, your bio is like an introduction to people before they meet you. And so in your profile of Instagram, you want to develop a well thought out profile for your biography for Instagram. And you don't want to have a lot of white space in it. It's already white space up there, but you want to make sure the space is filled to capacity. So you need to use every word. And since it's the only place that you can have a clickable link, think carefully about which link you want to use. Now, I personally like Linktree, and they don't pay me any extra money to market them, but I think it's really amazing for what it offers people that don't have a website. And I do have a website at NichelleWomack.com. However, this tool, Linktree, allows me to connect everything or a lot of things that I do in this one profile. So you can go to Linktree.com, or this is http://Linktree to look up that, and then whatever businesses or whatever landing pages and all of that, you can actually insert it in there. So if you're new to starting up to online marketing, you may not have all that kind of stuff. You may just have a plain website, but the more you build and grow on online marketing, you're going to have more websites and more links to send people to. So that may be something you think about later, but still, bottom line, make sure you have a link there, a website that they can click on to learn more about you and what you do. Now, profile pic, this is very important too. Do not have a picture of your dog, especially if you're in business. Please don't. Yes, please do not have a picture of your dog if you are in business. And don't even have a picture of something a product or something that you offer. Have a picture of you. People relate to people, not brands and things of that nature. They relate to people. So think about that when you're putting a picture up. Make sure it's very professional. Get a special headshot for your Instagram, and try to make sure, again, it's synonymous throughout your social media feeds. If you're just starting up and you haven't taken a Photoshop, don't put anything on there a picture that was like 10 years ago. Make sure it's most recent, but again, make sure it's professional, especially if you're marketing yourself as a business person on this social media platform, and any platform for that matter, especially LinkedIn. Yes. And keep it up for a long haul. You don't want to keep constantly changing your picture, because then people kind of like, oh, is that you? You want to make certain that you keep the same picture as long as you don't drastically change, cut your hair off or anything of that nature. I think maybe every 3 to 5 years, perhaps update, especially if there's no significant changes. So this is how people get to know you on Instagram, and changing it too often, as I mentioned, will confuse people. But to do this, make it a really, really good picture. The next thing we want to talk about is creating content, because content is king and content is cash. Yes, it is. So the easiest way, and you can go to the link in my bio, toexcelwithnichelle.com, and I have a content planning schedule for you to help you with planning to market yourself on Instagram, and then when to post, how to post, different things to post. But you want to use a spreadsheet or a calendar to create a plan of action for your content based on your promotions, the seasons, and your audience's desire. Remember, you're there for your audience, and you want to be able to give them what they need so they can consistently come back to your page on a regular basis. And you want to be able for them to see you in their feed as well. And if they're linked and connected with you, they will see you in their feed for the most part, except when analytics get involved. Those analytics. The next thing with creating content, you want to make sure that you repurpose. Now, remember that you can take content from elsewhere, reorganize it, make it appropriate for Instagram, and reuse it. Like if you have a favorite quote, or if you're doing a blog, or if it's something that you like, you can kind of use it to Instagram to kind of redirect traffic back to you, because you can also advertise on there. That's a whole nother broadcast there. But the bottom line is, when you're utilizing Instagram, think about repurposing things. Like, I know I have favorite quotes that I put in my blog posts, things that I say on Facebook. I'll recreate what I put on Facebook and put it on Instagram, and just perhaps maybe change it around, because I have 2 different audiences on Facebook. Most of the people on there are not my customers, whereas on Instagram, I solely market and use that for business. So whatever I say on Facebook, sometimes and if it gets a lot of likes or whatever, or if I see people are focused in on it, then I regenerate that on Instagram. And then sometime I'll get a lot of engagement on Instagram, and then it goes to Facebook and there's nothing. So that's why you have to know where your people are and where your market is when you're talking about your business. But repurposing really gives you not too much work to do. And that's what you want to do. Social media is work. And if you can't handle it, I suggest you get somebody outside, outsource it. But overall, for the most part, if you're a small business owner, you pretty much can kind of handle it as long as you make consistently posting on a regular basis. I recommend at least every day. When you go 2, 3, 4, 5 days, out of sight is out of mind. So keep that in mind. Imagery. Instagram, more than any other network, is all about beautiful visual pictures. Even on Facebook, I see that when you post a picture, people love to see what you look like and what you're doing and all that stuff. But visuals is very important because it kind of give a realistic perception of who you are, what you're doing, and why should they follow you or be connected with you. I don't like the word follow, but why should they be connected with you? So literally, you want to up your photography game, your photography skills, and all these smartphones out there. They have amazing photogenic capabilities. There are even apps that you can go and, recreate your pictures and make them look brighter and lighter and all that kind of stuff. Whatever you need to do to get the appearance that you want for your photography. So make sure that you utilize a good camera source for that. You don't want to put blurry pictures on. Graphic designers and things like that can help you with that. And you can go to different online sources to help with the imagery of your photography. So you want to make sure you got appealing pictures, bottom line. Nobody wants to look at a blurry picture and not understand what it is or what you're talking about or how the message relates to them. The next thing with creating content, you want to be able to mix it up. Mix it up. Mix it up. Post promotional updates about every 4 or 5 informational updates. You don't want to make it all about you. You don't want to make it all about selling either. You want to engage your audience with different information. Perhaps I like to use on my feed. If something is going on in business, then I'll post that, make a copy of it and post it on my page. If something I heard online, if it's something that in relation to me being a business owner that I think other business owners can benefit from as well, I'll share that. So you want to be promotional as well as informational. Post promotional updates every 4 or 5 informational updates. So after you've shared information 4 times, you can feel comfortable to share a post of a promotional update next. Mix it up, mix the type of post, use different images. Video is awesome. The more video you incorporate in your feed, the more engagement you're going to get as well. And then text in different various heights. Now, a lot of people will talk to you about brands. Now, I do believe in brands, but I think you are your brand. I know you are your brand. And so, when you have a lot of jumbo stuff up there, different colors, different, text and just different kinds of stuff, it can look really crowded. So as a business owner, you really want to make it look as professional and kind of in sync as much as possible. Now, does that correlate to you developing a brand? Possibly in the future if you don't currently have one. But keep in mind, a crowded space is noisy and you don't want to make your page noisy. You want to make it inviting. So when people come, everything that you have there, or at least most of it, registers with them. And that's why I like video, because video literally, is just a picture of somebody talking or a face of somebody talking or things of that nature. But it really doesn't get mixed up in all these different colors, So you want to be consistent. Bottom line, whatever you do, be consistent. If you go to my page, I like the yellows because that's my brand, yellow, black, and green. And then every now and then I'll incorporate a little red in it for that crimson effect. I got to give it a little crimson effect. And that's how I utilize it to mix it up in my brand. I don't deal with the other colors. If I get something or if I have something of that color, it's just one stint and then I'm moving on. You won't see a whole lot of that on my page. So again, mix it up. Use things that are visually appealing to you because it'll be visually appealing to your audience as well. And think about your audience eyes more so than you're thinking about your own. The next thing, this is a big thing with Instagram, are hashtags. Now you can even utilize hashtags in stories. So hashtags literally help you find your audience. Hashtags relate your post to someone else. Use as many hashtags. You can only use up to 30 when you're posting something, and make it easy for your audience to find you, and then add interest in your shares. So you can post 30 hashtags when you're making a post, and I like to skip over and create a comment and make my hashtags, because it kind of alleviates when it's in the post, the words that you're saying kind of jumble together. Whereas if you make a separate comment post with hashtags, it kind of separates the two. So I try to streamline it there and make it nice and neat. If you haven't been over to my Instagram page, go to Nichelle Womack on Instagram, and that's Nichelle with N as in Nancy, ICHELLE WOMACK, and you can see what I'm talking about in regards to the comments section and the hashtags. But you want to use hashtags again because they help you connect with your tribe. They help you connect with people that have like-minded ideas like you, and then you can actually see other things in those hashtags, and you can pretty much generate some ideas from there as well. The next thing I want to share with you is engagement. Engagement. I never figured out, why do people get on social media and not engage? I understand not being on there every day, all day, because I don't have time. If you're out here making, your coins and your dollars and in business, you don't have time either. But, you can schedule posts. Engagement is so critical to keep people coming back to your brand. So you want to set aside some time on a regular basis to comment, like, and engage with people that follow you. They'll love you for it. People love the engagement. People love for you to comment on the pictures, to say it's nice. Now, one thing that I don't like, please do not spam people. I think that's one thing I don't like about Instagram, is because I think they allow spammers too much. I get so many different spams, and I will block you if you're spamming me on a consistent basis. And I have several pages on Instagram. At Love Thy Marriage is one. Then I have New to You Consignment, which is my retail store. And then I have my personal page, which is at Nichelle Womack. And I'm actually getting ready to start another one pretty soon here in relation to food and health. But the point that I'm trying to make is, you don't want to spam people's page. You don't want to advertise on people's page unless they give you the authority to do so. That's like breaking in somebody's house and using their stuff, or going to somebody's house and going in their refrigerator without even asking, or being at dinner and snatching somebody's drink and drinking it, and you haven't asked them. It's really not good business sense. And not only that, it's very unprofessional. So don't spam people with your engagement. Just engage and learn more about them. That's what social media is about. Learning more about the people that you're connected with, and not necessarily always advertising or talking about business. Because I am truly an advocate. After 25 years of being in business, I know this one fact. People will tell you everything you need to know if you just listen and pay attention. And so you can literally be engaging with your followers, your people that your tribe that you're connected with, and they perhaps will tell you what you need so that you can get the buy-in to sell your product or your services. Just wait. People will tell you. Engagement, so key. And then you want to share often, as I mentioned earlier. You don't want to just come on one day, not come on for another 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. That's not going to work. People forget you. As I mention all the time, you got to show up if you want to glow up. Yes, Lord, you got to show up if you want to glow up. So share your updates often, and don't worry about being too much. One thing you don't want to do is consistently post like after each other, like you post 5 minutes again, 5 minutes again. Try to do it at intervals throughout the day. What typically works for me, and you can actually go on Instagram and see when your followers are active, most active on there. Mine is like around 9, sometimes 12, 3, and then 9 o'clock at night. And then sometimes even I've been on there at 12 a.m., 1 o'clock, and post things and get good engagement with it. So it really just depends on your followers, and you have to pay attention to them. So share often, engage often, and do it between shares to keep your feeds from being back to back, as I mentioned. Apps and add-ons, there's so many. Now, Instagram is really, really particular, and they really don't allow automation. But you can use software like later.com to schedule posts that you can push out manually when reminded on your device. And there's another one too that I'm familiar with, and I can't even think of it. It's on the tip of my, it begins with an S, and I apologize, I don't know it right offhand, but I think that that's a great program as well. There's several of them on there. And if it comes to mind later on, I'll put it in the notes of this podcast. Metrics. Metrics is so key to business and to your social media profile. Do the numbers. You can't know if what you're doing is working if you don't pay attention to the numbers. The numbers matter. Okay, those statistics matter. If you're reaching people, your numbers will tell you. If people are engaged with your posts, the numbers will tell you. That's why it's so important to pay attention to the analytics. We don't like them, but they literally tell us a lot about the people that we're connected with and if what we're posting is causing engagement. Look at how many new followers you get and then how much engagement you get and other things that are trackable with your social media profile. And that's another thing why I like Linktree too, because they have analytics on there. You can see how many clicks you get into your link for the different sites that you have on that. So that's something you may want to look at too. But again, if you have a business page on Instagram, you literally get the analytics there to be able to gauge what's going on in your business and in your practice. So as we finish up here, the tips and tricks: find new hashtags, find new people to follow, connect with via your competition. Now, that's something as well. You can go on to people, and I don't even like to call them competition. I'm telling you, I've been in business so long. I know that they are competition, but I think we can all learn from each other. And I do truly believe there's enough business out there for everybody, for the simple reason nobody can connect with 6 billion or so people in the world. So I don't like that word, but you can really connect with people through people that follow other people that kind of similar do what you do. Engage with others by tagging. Now, I don't like that, but they will tell you that tagging is good because I don't want you to keep tagging me. So I literally don't like tagging, but I have seen it effective more so on Facebook than I have on Instagram. Now, when I will tag somebody is when they perhaps maybe have utilized my services, or when they tag me, people tag me as well to share with me a comment or a phrase, something I said. So in those instances, tagging is good. But to just consistently be tagging people, you will get blocked, basically. And that's annoying. Nobody wants to constantly be tagged. Try different Instagram apps. You can literally go into your Play Store. I'm an Android girl. If you're iPhone, you can go into the Apple Store or whatever, and see what different apps that are available for you on Instagram. But as I mentioned, Instagram is so particular about automation and different things that they don't allow a lot of things on their platform. But there are some out there that you can utilize. Like I said, the photo enhancing apps. And just different things to help you can stay on top of your game with Instagram. And post different times throughout the day. Again, I try to do it at least 3 to 4 times a day. Whatever works for you and your audience, do that. Respond to comments on your posts. I tell you what, when I respond to someone who has a huge following and they don't respond back to me, I know they may not have time, but I'm like, you know what? You got to engage with people. And if I'm commenting on your post and you never respond back to me, that's like, who cares what you say? The more you respond to the people that are connected with you, the more they're going to follow you, the more they're going to refer other people. And not only that, they're going to know you care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so the more social engagement that you have, the more you'll find that people will connect with you by responding. Respond to them, let them respond to you. Again, comment on other people's posts. Cannot stress that enough. People love engagement. And then ask questions to engage. Now, that's something that I'm working on to get better at, because I find that I don't necessarily do that. And I'm like, I don't know what my audience needs and wants without asking questions. Same with you. You don't know what people need and want until you ask a question. So I'm going to work on that more so in this year of 2018. And actually, as soon as I get off with you guys, I'm going to post something asking a question just so I can see where people are. I do a lot of that in my stories, but just as a whole, because a lot of times people don't check stories, or there's so many up there in the profile, people don't really get a chance to see it unless they come to your page on a regular basis. But you want to ask engaging questions, not just a yes, no question, but engaging questions that will drive people to give you the answers that you're seeking. And so those are my tips for Instagram. Again, I love IG. You can connect with me at Nichelle Womack on Instagram. And I think really what you're going to see is that Instagram really is going to take over. Me personally, I think it's going to be bigger than Facebook because of the intimacy that you get when you're on Instagram, because of the connections you're able to make on the platform through hashtags, because of it consistently is growing on a regular basis. More and more people are signing up. And if you are a business owner and you're not on Instagram, now is your time to get on there, because what you're going to see, social media, video, and all of that is really going to transform the industry. Pretty much every industry. So don't be a late bloomer. Get there, show up, and market your stuff. I am Nichelle, your life transition and business strategist. I typically provide information as it relates to helping you to start, market, and grow a profitable business from your kitchen table while you're still working your 9 to 5. Connect with me on Instagram at Nichelle Womack. And again, thanks so much for downloading and sharing the People Connect podcast. And I will talk with you very soon. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.